And I believe that means we're live.
Hi, and welcome to Android Coliseum Hangout number 90. We shifted to Wednesday evenings because it was better for all of us, but we still haven't been that, online.
No, we haven't been a full crew in a while.
No, and we haven't been consistent either, but now that fall is here, I heard the S word from Ryan. We had the S word here. Martin, are you still struggling with 30-degree weather?
Actually, right now, if I'm getting 21, I'm happy.
Okay, so, and it's getting a little darker in the evening, so I think we're more willing to hang out and talk Android.
Inside.
Yeah.
Never going to leave the confines of the warmer, hot chocolate areas.
Let's not
That's
talk
right.
about it.
And my dogs don't want to go in and out quite so much, although they seem to have left me for now, so I should be okay for a little while. So let's get on to, we're going to talk about some main topics, talk about some updates. We had some reader questions, and even do an app Coliseum. So for our main topics, we got a couple of new releases from Samsung available in Canada. One is the Active, and one is the Alpha. Are either of you guys interested in either of those?
Not personally, no.
I mean, I'm interested in the concept that Samsung's now using metal in the Alpha. That's nice. It's a good start. The Active is, again, it's always a good idea because I remember back when we used to work. I worked at a cell phone store. There were a lot of guys that worked line that they needed that cat phone or the really Galaxy Rugby. So what I like about it is that not only is it a rugby phone or a rugged phone, but it has the same specs as the S5. It's not like a dumbed down, just so it's tough phone. It's actually the S5 just made strong. What I don't like about it, and this is totally the fault of the carriers, and I'll always blame the carriers, is the fact that so you have the S5 and the S5 Active. Now they're both $700 to buy off contract. The S5, if you buy it on a 2-year contract, is now $50 or $60. The S5 Active is $200. Well, I mean, if they're the same base price, why is one cheaper on a contract than the other one? That doesn't make sense. You're just penalizing the person who wants to get the Active. Like you basically price the Active that you don't want to sell it. And I don't understand that.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because my S4 has been acting kind of funny, and I went to see how much it would cost to call. It's the same price as it was when I first bought it. And it's zero on contract now, and it's still like $500 to buy outright, over $500. So, Martin, you had a comment?
Yeah, it's basically just a cash grab. They know that they have the monopoly, and they just want to gouge at you. I mean, look at TELUS, Bell, and Rogers. They all have the same plans for their phones. The pricing is pretty much the same on every carrier. At the most, there's a $5 difference from different plans and different pricing for phones, and that's pretty much the extent of it. So we are getting screwed.
Well, and it's like I said, they can control it. What are you going to do? Go buy it outright yourself? And I think we really need to start doing that. We need to start.
Good.
I do. I mean, I know Cass is really considering it. Martin, I think you did your last phone outright. I mean,
My last 2 phones are outright.
So I mean, I don't know, we're a tiny majority of people who buy phones outright, but I think it's where the industry. I ideally would like to see the industry going.
Yeah, and when you start to explain to people that in the long run, if you buy it outright, it's actually cheaper than actually going on the contract.
But I think you also have to make sure when you buy it outright that you're not buying it from
Yes.
because I've bought a phone outright, and then when I go to buy out my contract, they say, "Oh, well, you need to buy this out." And why? For your phone. Yeah, but I bought my phone outright. And they go, "Oh, well." And then, well, you can pay this money or you don't get to go. If you're going to buy your phone outright, you're going to have to look for somewhere to buy it from, not just from the carrier.
Well, and watch it
telephone
too.
boot.
Well, I think that too, because I think I did the same thing. I bought the S3 on contract, right? And I had it for the 3 year. And technically, I'm still on the contract for that S3. Even though I bought
think that's what gets
2
people.
phones since, right? So I bought 2 phones since. And I was in the store the other day looking at the G3, and they're like, oh, well, you still have like a year left in your contract. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I don't have that phone anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Plus now with Bell, if you choose to upgrade, you must change your plan. Whereas before you didn't have, they just brought that in. Before you didn't have to change your plan.
I think it's like all carriers unless you bitch. Because I was funny because I was in Bell and I was talking to them. You know what? I am not changing my plan. I'm like, and the lady's like, well, call the customer retention line and maybe they get a deal. And I'm like,
seriously? You're whispering to me. Martin, you want to wrap up this and we'll move on?
I'll wrap it up very quickly, and it's entirely true. I mean, I'm on that $65 plan where you had everything plus 6 gigs of data. If I do an upgrade, I will have to change my plan to match what I have now. Will cost me $125 instead of $65.
It's amazing how much, like even same here. Like just to like for us right now, we've got 2 phones where we share a gig, and we pay $125, and we would be up in our bill by at least $30 for the same thing, and it's like, eh. Anyways, well, let's move on to something more fun. It would seem that Google Voice has finally been rolled into Hangouts. Now, Ryan, I know you have a Google Voice number.
Yes.
Do you, Martin?
I do indeed. And if I actually make a call with the Google Google Hangout, you'll actually get my U.S. number that's going to pop on your screen, which starts with 440, a number from Ohio. And it's actually pretty cool. And I can receive the calls as well. What I'm interested to see is if actually Google will go the Canadian way and I can have a freaking local number.
Yeah.
See, and I won't get. I hope they get a Canadian and we get local numbers. But I mean, even with the Dell Voice and PhoneGo and those guys, I don't get a Thunder Bay number. I can't get an 807 area code. So I don't know. Even if they come to Canada, I would be able to do that. So.
I don't know about you guys, but where I am now, we used to have a 780, and then it went to 2. There's a second area code added in, and now there's, I don't know, it's just sort of like pick 10 random numbers, and that'll be the number that you have. It's very different than when, obviously, we've got way more phone lines than we used to. And I haven't got a Google Voice number yet because I need to get a burner US number so that I can sign up. But
you're gonna follow the tip I wrote. I wrote the tip a while ago.
I know. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make that much difference for us in Canada right now. The only difference is, like Martin says, is that if you have a Google Voice number, you don't have a number that you can be reached at if you wanted to be reached at that number, right? So right now, if you don't have a Google Voice Cast, if you use Hangouts to make a call, you would get some. They would get some random Google number from California or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, "Oh, that's great, thanks, Cass. Talk to you later." Oh, I got to call her back, and they call that number back. They're not going to get you. They're going to get some weird.
I don't even think the last when I tried it, it didn't show up as a number. Anyways, it just said unknown. No, it said unknown caller, and then when you looked at details, it said no. I said unknown caller.
So no, I think I remember back when it was in Google Talk, and you could dial up from Google Talk. It was you can get caller ID, and it was some random California number. But now at least I can use my thing. Now I do see on the web app, if I go into Google Plus or I'm on Gmail and I can do Hangouts, I can see, for example, Martin, you have your text number in your profile, so therefore I can text you from my Google Voice number on Google Plus here on the web app, but I don't see that option on my phone yet. I don't know if that's just a Canadian thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Martin, you said you wanted to make a comment?
Yeah, and I completely forgot what I was going to say. But, for the Google Voice number, at this point, I mean, I'm one of those people that actually does not make phone calls. If I make for 10 minutes worth of phone call in the month, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We were talking actually about getting rid of our landline, but we've had our landline for 17 years. And it's got all of our utilities tied to it. So it's kind of, It's like, I think maybe when we move, we'll get rid of our landline. But for now, and parents, I think parents would have a problem with that.
See, we do the same thing. We've been debating about getting rid of our landline, but again, there's so many things that have to change. Okay, so all the utilities, our banks, and then it's a matter of like,
really...
if Dean's school calls us, should they call the house? Should they call her cell or my cell?
Yeah.
It's easier just to keep it for the like $8 a month or whatever it is.
Actually, we spend a lot on ours for unknown reasons.
Oh well.
Okay, well, let's move on. Martin, you're going to talk about YouTube offline viewing.
I know, right? I was actually looking at some of the news we had and read about the YouTube offline feature that should be introduced at some point shortly. Basically, it allows you to actually tag your YouTube video. It will actually download it, and you can watch it offline if, say, you don't have a data connection, or you want to revisit without having to download again. Because God knows now that we're being price gouged for data usage, you don't want to be downloading off YouTube a 300 meg file every couple of minutes. So that might not be a bad idea if you got access to Wi-Fi, awesome, tag a couple of clips and whatnot. It's probably going to do the same thing as the Google Play Music. When you actually pin your music, it actually downloads it to your phone. But it might be the same type of feature they'll introduce eventually shortly on ours.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think, Ryan?
I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, definitely, that's something I do all the time on Google Play Music. As I pin all my music, because I'm not streaming my music and walking around. I listen to music a lot, so it makes a lot of sense. So especially if I'm starting more to get into, because I don't watch much TV anymore. I'm starting more to subscribe to a lot of YouTube channels, and then I'll watch them later, and I forget to watch them later. So it'd be really nice if I could just say pin now and I can watch. But what I would really like to see, and offline viewing is one thing. What my update, and I think people have asked for this for a long time, and I'm really hoping we get it sometime soon, is multitasking for YouTube. I can't tell you how annoying it is if I'm watching a YouTube video, going like, okay, watching this YouTube video, and a phone call comes in, or something you want to do something, you can't switch out of this YouTube video and go to something else. Because most of the stuff I tend to watch on YouTube tends to be verbal only, so I could really just listen to it. I don't really need to be watching something. So something that you could be able to multitask it or something.
You'd want the playback to just keep going.
I have Samsung devices, and it's multi-window.
I've got multi-window on the G2. I just never use it just because.
I do actually for YouTube. I do, and I use it for like if I've got a calendar and email, then I can just have them both on the same screen. But for YouTube, I do. I frequently forget that I have multi-window, but that is one of the ones that actually kind of makes sense.
We'll make it the tip of the week. Cast and multi-window.
What's that?
Well, we'll make it the tip of the week. Cast and using multi-window. I didn't know how to turn up multi-window on this guy.
Well, I know that I'm looking forward to it. I do use YouTube at work for safety videos, so it'll be nice to have them downloaded because not everybody at work has access to YouTube. So, that'll be nice.
Well, at my office we don't have Wi-Fi, so I mean it's just so it's a pain. If I want something down, I know I have to go out my own thing. My data usage has shot up in the past few months that I've been working. So
yeah, weird things are happening at my work too. Well, it sounds I think that almost like Google Music was a really good introduction to the idea of pinning stuff to your device to have it temporarily downloaded and you can clear it again. So having YouTube is the next step. Just really makes sense. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this. Well, let's move on.
I mean, if they want the people to use it as an interactive content platform, they have to.
Yes. And they are trying to build more sponsored channels as well. And the only way that's going to work is if people can really access that stuff, whether they're online or not.
Pretty much.
Okay, well, we have heard a lot about Android One, and it is for those markets, expanding markets, I'd call it, like India, China, places like that, where there is a significant number of people with a very low income, but phones are really important to keeping them connected. I know I've heard for a long time how Kenya uses I think those were flip phones even, for their micro banking and stuff like that. Well, now Android has Android One. What do you guys think? I saw some prices. I'm not sure how much rupees in a dollar. Like they talk about thousands of rupees, but like what is that?
I think the pricing was if not the sub 100, sub 150 mark.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was also the goal of getting it down to the sub $50 mark to talk about phones.
That's true.
So this is like budget level phones that it's accessible to the masses. I mean, even right now with the Moto G being at about $150, right? You know, there's not a lot of people picking up the phone that you would think. I would really think people that have a flip phone for $150 go and get this semi-smartphone that's it's actually a pretty good buy. It's actually a really decent device. So I mean, like, if you start putting the price down there, I think you start opening up the opportunities and the opportunities and capabilities for those regions that they start being able to do things they weren't able to do before, and I think that's always a good thing. Like, kudos to Google for providing that kind of stuff.
It'll be interesting to see whether it goes with more like, I can see if they include NFC or some kind of bump to transfer. But with a lot of those phones, like you were saying, flip phone people, I don't think they want to be involved with the data aspect. So if they don't have a lot of data capabilities, sure, you got this cheap little phone that can do a lot of stuff, but what are they doing? Like, they're not making phone calls. They must be using it for something else.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how well it's received. I mean, I remember them talking about the fact that this is for the next, was it Sundar was saying, this is for the next billion users, right? So get them active in mobile and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Martin?
Well, at this point, I mean, we obviously know it's going to be for emerging markets, which hadn't had access to smartphone technology, and if you keep that in mind, I mean, if it's to get them on board with the new age technology that most of everything is going on, it's more than likely going to be aimed towards letting them do their banking, some light surfing. It's basically like, I'm seeing this almost as an upgrade from a flip phone browser to something more minimalist, but not as bad as what you had on the flip phone, right? So allowing them to actually have more access to content and more information but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, if you look at the billions of people that you have in India and China and other markets, I mean, obviously not everybody's going to be on board for that, and I just don't know how that's going to go. I could have seen the Android One more like in Argentina and places like that versus India personally.
Well, actually, India could be like, and of course, this is all speculation because we don't live in a country like that.
That's true.
But like, actually, when you were talking, one of the things that they might use it for is, say, for farmers to manage like crop rotation and things like that. Tracking their assets, things that don't necessarily require that you be online, but maybe when you come into a zone, you can get your stuff ready so it does the data transfer while you are there.
Yeah, that's a possibility, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, like, I guess I'm going to have to either learn how to read the Hindu or something like that, or whatever the common language is, or get to know more East Indians on Google Plus so I can find out what's going on. Anybody got any closing comments?
No, that was it really.
Okay. Well, Win Mobile, they are a smaller provider, very restricted market, and they seem to have become Canadian.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just this week, a Canadian-led investment team, which was led, if I remember correctly, when I was reading the news this week, was led by Tony Lacavera, and Westface, they bought Win Mobile out of Viphelcom, so it's all Canadian-led now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do, because if you look at Win Mobile, I equate Win Mobile to being the T-Mobile of the U.S. They have the same type of go-to mentality about what they want to do for people, and seeing that they might become the fourth big player in the Canadian market, it could be interesting to see.
I think it's a hard road to hoe for those smaller players because they have to stick to the big cities. There isn't that many big cities in Canada. I mean, we don't have that high population density anyway. And I know for someone like me that would maybe think of Win Mobile, they don't service my area. So,
same here.
Rogers barely services our area.
If they would service my area just a bit outside the city, where actually if I decide to go to the cottage I have service, I would switch. Because, I mean, you can't go wrong with a $35 monthly plan that gives you unlimited service. That's it. It's just unlimited. You're done.
Yeah, but I think Tom was saying April has wind, and she just, maybe it's settled down now, but I know initially it seemed like she was having a lot of issues with it.
It depends on the coverage you get, obviously, but seeing as I live downtown, I would be getting LTE service, and I would have no problem. But like if you live on the fringe of the service or the coverage area, you're gonna get intermittent service.
Yeah, and I think they live outside of Vancouver proper in one of the suburban communities. So yeah, they may not have the coverage that they expect.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their coverage map, and like where I am, I think we're officially considered their partner network, so therefore be away coverage for us.
Away zone, basically you'd be paying every time you're using the device.
Yeah, and no. Well, let's answer some reader questions. So Ryan has looked at these questions, and you picked a couple for us to talk about, Ryan?
Yeah, so if you guys remember from the last giveaway, the end of summer giveaway, we had a thing, hey, you got a question for us? And it's something I always thought we should do maybe on the blog is have a little, let us answer a question that you might have, and let's tackle it, because I tend to feel a fair bit, whenever we post something and somebody asks for my opinion on this, or just not that I'm a wealth of knowledge, but again, I think people are always interested in somebody else's opinions. So I thought we'd take a look at just a couple of them. We got a couple dozen here. And they're really good questions. So again, thanks everybody for submitting them. We'll do this as a regular segment. So one of the first questions they asked is, what is your most anticipated device for Q4 of 2014? So the next upcoming phones. I'm going to go to Cass first on this one. What do you think, Cass? Because you're looking at buying a new phone the next while.
Yeah, my phone has started acting funny. It's got this weird flickering band across the bottom where the dock would be. I'm trying a different launcher just in case it is a software thing. But at the same time, now that the idea of getting a new phone has entered my head, it's really hard to turn back. Yeah. I think you're going, So the device I am most interested in actually is the Z3 Compact by Sony. I know that Tom and Mark are really, Tom has become a Sony fan, which is kind of bizarre, but Mark has always been our Sony guy, and to be fair, we have a lot of Sony products. We are probably one of the last Sony TV owners on the planet. But anyways, I am looking forward to that. It's got the specs that the Z3 has, while being a smaller form factor. And I did hold an S5 mini, and it just felt so nice. It felt like I could grip it properly. I kind of like the colors you can get the Z3 in and compact in and stuff like that. And when you look at the specs, it does, they did keep the specs. So it'll be interesting. I'm hoping that I don't have to rush, because I would like to do some screen comparisons and stuff like that. But
so with the S5 Mini, because again, you wanted something smaller than the S5. I think if you're.
Oh yeah, okay.
Now I gotta find my database here. But does the S5 Mini like normally when they go, here's the regular phone and here's the mini phone. The mini phone is not only just smaller, but it loses a lot of the specs, whereas the Z3 was the same specs, right? Is the S5? Android devices. I gotta find my database. So the S5 Mini, do you sacrifice a lot of the specs?
Yeah, you do. I was really surprised. You sacrifice some of the speed, and I mean already the S5 is already 6 months old. So if you're downgrading from those specs, I know that they say you don't need the big processor to drive a smaller screen. I would really like a chance, Samsung, if you're listening, I would really like a chance to test drive that S5 Mini, because I want to see if that's true. The last phone I had that was a lower spec was the Galaxy Nexus, and by the time I traded up to the S4, I was like done with that. So, it's hard to tell. What about you guys? Who's next?
I can go next. I mean, there's a few devices. I mean, I've been looking over at the OnePlus One, the Z3, even the LG G3, and I'll blame Ryan for that one because I've actually had one in my hand and now I don't want to let it go. So I'm at that point. But I mean, yeah, if I could have a device every time a device comes out, I probably would. But if I had to choose one right now, I'm still going with the G3.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you, saying that it's not the quarter 4 phone. I want to say G3. I mean, I have it. It's I don't have it. I just have my review unit still. So, and I'm really jealous of the person who wins this contest, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But the G3 I think it's definitely enough. I do got to say I'm not a big fan of going 5.5 inches. I'd rather stay at that 5-inch size.
Like the 5.1 inch.
The 5.5, whatever, yeah, the G3, I think it's 5.5, but like, I just don't think I'd like to have that large. I think if it like the G3 Beat, I think the G3 Beat would be perfect for me, because the G3 Beat is the G3 but in a G2 body. So same, like I think same display as the G2, so not a 1080p, I think, if I recall correctly, not the 4K or Ultra Quad HD display, not 4K. 4K is different, apparently. I made the mistake in the article. But it would be the same size, but have all the specs of the G3, but the same size as the G2. So I mean, I'd be interested in that. But there's always a little part of the Google fanboy in me that says Nexus. That says, oh, I'm always excited to see what the Nexus is. So I mean, I'm torn. I'm really torn. G3B and the Nexus are a tie, I think, for me, for the next phones coming around.
The one thing that really pulled me to Sony too is they have such excellent camera quality, and that is my camera. And the Z3 Compact does have a 20 megapixel camera, and I know that doesn't mean much in terms of like how big do you want to blow your picture up. That also means that you have better digital zoom. So
you need to use it. Yeah.
There are just things, and I do like the look, and I like some other stuff. So we'll see. It's not out yet. I have to see pricing, stuff like that. But I signed up for news, and I think I'll probably be going through expenses when I make the jump.
Okay.
So what's another question, Ryan?
Another question we had, I thought we could tackle today. Oh, we got time, yeah. We got time. So favorite piece of gear or kit from this past year, or an accessory that you use, I think, every day, that you really liked in the past year?
Oh, I'll just head over here and grab one right now. Oh, I can't live without that thing now. Trust me, it has everything.
Cool.
And yeah, even the NFC tag is you can program it in the back on the strap. So there's a lot of options: pockets, battery charger, everything. I mean, I've even found something where I can actually hook it up over to one of the batteries and actually charge a laptop. So the converter for it, so I can charge a laptop in the bag. I mean, mind you, it's going to drain the battery pack pretty quickly, but I have 2 of them in the bag. So yeah, that would definitely work for this bag. And the material of it is pretty much the same grade as you would see for people that are in the military. So this backpack, I've obviously taken the stuff out of it and I've been throwing it around to see how sturdy it is, and actually to the point where it's sturdy, where there's no scratches, no scuff. I mean, even I dunked it in water and it's still dry. So it really works out. I mean, for $199, I know it's a steep price, but it's really worth it. If you're a student, you're lugging your bag, you're getting on the bus, and then the first thing you're doing you're just throwing it on the seat. That's the only thing you're doing on the bus. And then you have your tablet, you have everything else in there. You don't want to break them, right? So this bag is actually just working for everything you need. It's
Well,
worth it.
like I said, break it down. Like, and what's a decent backpack? You know, you're looking at probably 50, 60, $70 easily.
Yeah,
It's got,
at least $80 easy if you want a decent backpack.
and that's got another
Oh,
$50,
yeah.
$60 of battery tech in it. And
Yeah, even the battery pack here, they do sell it separately, and they do sell it for $59.99. So add the regular price, which is probably $80 plus $59.99. You're already up to about $130, $140. So yeah, you're not far from the mark at all. And they've already done all the legwork for you. Everything is fished. You can fish everything through, all the pockets in there. I haven't even been able to fill all the pockets on that bag. Trust me.
Well, and when you find the right backpack, I have looked for backpacks for a long time because when I travel, I like to travel light. If you travel to the States, you don't want to pay for that extra bag, and at the same time,
every
you don't
place
want to
now is WestJet and Porter now pay for any bags you carry. Or
Oh, is it?
any bag you check now. Air Canada hasn't done it yet, but
I'm surprised WestJet has because Air Canada had done it the last time I was looking.
it's definitely. I know WestJet was just recently did it. It was every check bag is now like whatever it costs. So I now travel everything on a shoulder, right?
Yeah, I always have. And this just makes it like this. When you travel with a backpack, it's important to have all the right pockets and for this, that, and the other. So it looks like a really good bag.
It's
from
really solid. Quite impressed with what Tilt did with that one, and you know what? It's actually one of their biggest seller. Even at that price tag, people are just buying it off right, left, and center off the shelf. Because I had a hard time actually getting one shipped over to me for a review. So the fact to actually have one.
Well, I know I buy OGO bags, and OGO bags are high quality and they're expensive and hard to find. So, I think when you have a quality product, that speaks to something that you're going to have a long time. So you pay a little bit of money up front, and then you just keep it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So, yep. Ryan, what's your...
Mine? I have to say, I've been pretty bare bones with my phones. I don't really play around with a lot of accessories here and there. I do love my remote control, the little SteelSeries one. But I still have to say my favorite accessory of my phone is my headphones. The 808 Duos I'm using, they're upstairs because I take it around and I walk around a lot with them. They're bigger, they're bulkier, but they just produce sound like you wouldn't believe. They're really great set, and I love them. So, and I've done a review on that set as well.
Well, and then I was gonna do a battery because every once in a while you need a battery. But one thing that I kind of like, and it's because we have a bunch of different things at home, and sometimes I like to not use Wi-Fi, and I found it's a really great holiday thing, is I have one of these little things you can plug in. It's got the micro USB on one end. You can plug it into your phone. And then it's got a 32 storage on the other side. And I found it really handy when we went to the Cooks. You don't have a lot of Wi-Fi, so if I wanted to transfer music around from one device to another, just use it. And transferring stuff into computers that aren't mine, because it's a USB, is kind of nice too. So that's mine. I know a lot of people depend on the cloud and things like that, but I don't always have data, and I don't want to burn up my data with media files.
Don't blame me.
That's mine.
Cloud or nothing. Come on.
Yes. Luckily, I'm never far from home. Oh, on a daily basis. When I go on holidays, I'm very far from home and don't have internet.
Well, I have a lot of data myself. Not that I'm starting to use more often of that data, but I still like having the cloud.
Oh, let's not talk about data. I went over my data when I was in Toronto.
Oh, no.
By 7 gigs.
Ooh, you didn't just go over a little.
No, and I have 6 gigs to start with.
I don't even want to know how. Anyways, let's move on.
Let's move along.
No comment.
Brian,
No
while
comment.
you do that, I have to go offline for a moment. So if you want to talk about our big giveaway, that'd be great.
Yeah, so just want to remind everybody that we do have the LG G3 giveaway. We do, so again, that is on the website. It's pinned to the top article. So we do have that ready to give away. All you have to do to be entered in the draw, there's just a few things. And I go through it every day, and I make sure that all those people who enter into it are following the rules. So there's just a few basic rules. So first off, share the link for the article. So the article link has to be in there so they can go check it out. Has to be posted publicly, so I can actually verify that you did it. It has to have the hashtag LGG3, just because I have, we want to, thank our partners LG for being able to give us this phone to give away. This is our biggest giveaway to date. All right, so those are the only three things. Oh, and you should follow us. So if you're posting on Facebook, like us on Facebook. If you're posting on Twitter,
Canadian only.
And yeah, last is Canadian only. So there is 5 things. It does seem like a fair bit of things to do, but you know what? It's a $700 phone you're going to get for free. Awesome. Isn't that cool? So yeah, we do have a few more days. And remember, you guys, if you can post it on Twitter, you can post it on Google+, you can post it on Facebook. Do it all three of those, that's 3 entries. Right? So triple your chances of winning. And I'm surprised that of how many people we have entered the giveaway, that only a few people are doing that. So anyways, by all means, I will be drawing that at about 10 o'clock on Friday. So if you're waiting for that one will have that answer then.
Oh, pretty nice. And of course, we cannot enter. So
Yes,
you guys don't have
I
to
know.
buy them.
It would just look bad. I mean, I know there's no monetary interest for anybody here, but I think it just would look bad.
Yeah, I know. Even if we
just
used a fantastic random jump.
I'll just slightly share that post to the neighbor.
Get your neighbors to enter.
Yeah. Because it can't be a partner or a spouse. It would have to be a neighbor.
Exactly.
And they have to live more than a block away.
Oh, then I'm screwed.
And one more thing. There's only rules.
Nobody rules. Nobody more rules. Anyways, again, I'm really thankful to LG for this opportunity to give this away. Again, we've never given away something this big on the site before, so I think it's exciting. And
Absolutely.
It's happened because of the readers we do have who continue to come back and interact with us. And that's
more people. Bring more people to us.
More people.
So, anyways, that's
talk to us more.
So we're getting close to time here. Let's move this over.
Oh, okay. So we had some ROM updates.
A few things.
M11, Cyanogen Mod 11 M10 update. So for select devices, a monthly stable.
They've made some few adjustments, some few updates. They've removed some devices from their weekly or monthly rollout. So you may see some changes where your ROMs, your device is not supported anymore. Don't be upset. It happens. Outside of that, I mean, there's a lot of software changes as well. For anybody that's not running CM11, and if you can, just go run it. Just do it. Don't ask questions. Just do it. It's worth it.
Well, let's zip through these app updates, and you've already talked about your backpack. I think that's enough about the backpack.
I know.
Facebook Messenger, you can now doodle on your pictures when you want to send them to Facebook Messenger. Kind of, with your finger, right? So you can doodle on it. I wrote on about that. YouTube had some performance enhancements. Hangouts, we know, has the new material look, and Google Voice rollout. Go get the Hangouts dialer so you can do the dialing out to your friends. Google Play Games had an update. Now includes stuff like challenges and quests that you can do. So I haven't played with that yet, but apparently
get points and level up and get special badges and crap like that.
I gotta give it a try. Google Docs has some.
Yep,
Google Docs now has the some new performance updates. Nothing really big there, if I remember correctly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that's the app updates. If there's anything we're missing out there, guys, let us know. We'll make sure we include that.
We just zipped through, so now it's time. We said we would do an app Coliseum. We haven't done one for a long time. So, Ryan, do we have a winner from I don't know when?
Me.
Are we just gonna...
I always win. No, I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because the last one we did was in August. It was, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I could go back and look, but it was a while ago.
Oh, let's just start again.
Let's start fresh.
So we have three different apps and three different types of apps. So let's go from the bottom of our queue upward. So Martin is on the bottom. So
I'm
Martin,
on the bottom. That doesn't have nothing trust me.
Hey, none of that.
So we're gonna start. I know we're gonna start with the
Boxer.
Boxer. If I can actually get the proper screen, that'd be nice. Let's share the proper screen. So Boxer is a new email app, which is actually one of the top email apps that you have on iOS at the moment, and it basically brings what Gmail doesn't have. It is a unified mailbox like we've seen with others, but it has more potential on that. You've got gesture, you've got a lot of selection you can do, multiple email boxes. The goal of Boxer is to become your main inbox for pretty much anything that happens on your phone. So email, Facebook messages, Twitter messages. Eventually, there possibly might be plan for it to include text messaging as well. So it's going to be similar to what you have on BlackBerry as a unified mailbox, where you're going to have everything that's going to show up in there, and you'll be able to have them tagged with different account colors and whatnot. So I've been using it now for about a week, and I can't complain. It does everything I need. It does even more than I need to. You can even sync your stuff over to your Evernote, your Dropbox, your Drive. You can archive trash, do the same thing as you would normally do on Google+. On Gmail. You can like stuff, you can share your labels, you can mark stuff with spam, to-do list, and reminders and whatnot. So it's really, really nicely done. And so far, Boxer comes with a pro version that you can actually upgrade for free. The only catch is if you actually do want to use Exchange Active Sync, you do have to pay the price tag of, if I remember correctly, $9.99, and it'll allow you to use the Exchange Active Sync. But me personally, I don't use my device for work, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But there's going to be more and more stuff added to that. So keep an eye on that email application. It's worth it.
Okay, so we have an email application. Martin, how many times have you done email applications for us?
I probably have about a dozen underneath my belt. Let's leave it at that. And not only email, launchers, customizable team stuff. Oh, I got fancy.
Well, that's the nice thing about having an Android phone. It's also a hobby.
Yep.
Very much so.
So, Ryan, what's your app?
Okay, so let me see. Can you guys? I'm doing the same thing. Something that happened to me is happening to that
Yep.
Martin had. You guys can't see that.
It just doesn't show.
Let's do it this way. If I share the whole monitor instead of just that one window, you can see that now, right?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, yep.
Okay. So the app that I'm using, that was nice and slow, is
Yeah.
I'm going to use this called Screen. Here we go. Screen Capture Recorder Pro. That's CR Pro. What's nice about this app is that all it does is basically lets you record your Android phone or tablet or whatever with you using your microphone as the voice input. So I can play a game and record it and then stop recording. So this is my son Dean and I. We make our little Minecraft videos with. We just run around and play and kill sheep or whatever. But I do my video reviews of apps on here as well. So what you do is you tap the button and this little floating icon, I can show how I can move it around. So then I can go into the app I want to play with and say, okay, here's Minecraft. Right? So now I can actually have it ready, and as soon as I tap the record button, it goes away, right? And you play your game until you go down, you swipe down from the top, and then you can actually, stop recording. So it does record files fairly large. I think a few minutes, like our 20-minute video was like 2 gigs or something. But I mean, like for a quick little video, like, hey, here's how I play the game threes I posted today. Really easy for me to record a quick little, here's how I play the game threes. Nice little game. You should go download it. It's awesome. that was only a couple hundred megs or whatever, or less than that. So very easy. Yes, it does need to have root in order to work to do that recording. So unfortunately, that's a precursor, but I mean, really kind of cool. Question, I think, or comment there?
Yeah, it's a comment. I mean, if people want to check out a quick little demo of how Screen Recorder works, I mean, you can go check out some of the posts I've made. I've actually used Screen Recorder for some of the stuff I did review. So just go check it out. You'll see what it does. It basically records your screen for whatever you're doing on the screen.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And I've been using that for all my stuff, for the past few months.
Yeah, for the couple of Minecraft videos you posted, which I keep clicking on.
Yeah, watch my kid. They're crazy. But I mean, like even today, you watch me play Threes or watch me play Word Monster, those kind of apps. I use that for how I record my app reviews. Because again, it's nice that you can just talk over it while you're playing it. So.
Well, we got two sort of useful apps. So now we're going to do mine. And mine is just a game. So.
It's a fun game.
It is a fun game, actually. I'm not that much of a game player. Is this going to work? Or did my computer just go? Oh, there we go. Okay, so mine is Kitten Taxi. I actually saw this last night on All About Android. It was Gina Trapani's pick. So if you watch them, go vote on their poll. A lot of times I load that stuff and then I unload it, but Kitten Taxi is a really cool game. It has very 40s, 1940s music in the background, like gangster-ish music. You can see we have a cat driving a taxi. I think there's also a passenger. And what you do is you're running away. You've robbed a bank and you're running away, and there's police and stuff chasing you, and you're shooting guns at the back and bombs and stuff like that. And in turn, are sending bombs at you, and you have to avoid getting blown up. So that's the basic thing. Pick up some coins and stuff like that. Little tips to it: you can pick up ammunition and upgrade your guns and stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun, and you get coins and diamonds and stuff like that. The thing is with this, and there is in-app purchases, but you get 6 keys, which means 6 drives. And then when you run out, you get one key every 5 minutes for a maximum of 6 keys at a time. So it is kind of nice because even though you get stuck on it, you are forced to take a break unless you want to spend a heck of a lot of money, which I usually don't. So here's the options. And they do this really weird thing for shopping as well. When you say you want to buy something and you go shop, then it says, do you want to buy a spin on the wheel? And you pay your money and you spin the wheel, and all the things are like all the options are the things you want to buy, so it's not like you're not going to get what you want to buy. So that's my app, and it's funny because it did a notification. It said, hey, if you play now, you can get some super coins. And I was at work and I was trying to do something over lunch, like worky stuff over what people would traditionally call lunch, and it was like, oh, I wonder what those coins are. And then I ended up playing for 10 minutes. Luckily, I ran out of keys again. So it is an addictive game. It's a lot of fun. The graphics are really cool. Like I was looking at it, you go through a tunnel and coins spray out at you, and it is really it's a phone, right? So it's a 2D display, but the graphics are so cool. It looks like 3D sketch graphics.
Cool.
So it is a really nice looking game, nice gameplay, and a lot of fun. So vote for me. It doesn't require root, and it can be played for free. So that's my game. And I think that takes us to the end.
That pretty much wraps it up.
So, you guys have any closing comments?
I liked how we said that this was going to be a shorter show today, and it's still almost the hour mark.
Well, whenever we talk about carriers or anything like that, and I do drone on sometimes.
Well,
I think we all do. Oops.
A necessary evil.
I know. All right, guys. Well, so far this is the show, and this was our Intro Coliseum number 90 now, right?
This is the 90th one. We're getting close to that 100. We have to do something big for the 100.
Yeah, we'll have to see what we can do for a giveaway. Too bad now we have to top a phone. Now we have to top a tablet and a phone. So
tablet and a phone. Together.
Like a pad phone?
No, like a
Actually, we could if we could top it off with the tablet, the phone, and an Android Wear.
I get mine tomorrow. I'm so excited to get mine tomorrow.
Maybe we'll just all pool our stuff that we don't use anymore. Put it in the original boxes. You guys have all your original boxes, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still have all my boxes out there. Anyways,
I'm sure I have a few things in here.
Uh-huh. Well, I think that about wraps it up. You guys want to say good night?
All right, guys, take care.
Bye, everybody.
Temperatures are dropping.
Next week.
Next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll be here.
We're going to try.
I'm in.
All right.
All right, cheers.